it's time to get this thing driving. We got it running in the last video. What I'm going to start with is mounting the gas tank, because where we left off, the gas tank is just chilling here, sitting on that stool. But I have to cut out that section of exhaust and then modify it so it goes underneath that cross member there instead of over it. The kinetic persuasion. That could have been worse. Weight reduction. Yikes. I was afraid of that. Not that I think it's going to sound particularly exciting straight piped, but you know, still, we'll know what it would sound like. Yoink. Yes. Mini Cooper muffler. Jeep engine. Oh, there's a rock stuck in there. Now let's see what it sounds like out of curiosity. Now it sounds like a Jeep. Sounds like an XJ getting ready to flip over. Yeah. Well, I wouldn't say it sounds good, but it is louder.
I don't know, because all my cars started with no mufflers.
Well, you just put mufflers on that yesterday.
Oh yeah, I did. And it did get a lot quieter.
That's what I was referring to. How did you already forget, Will?
Go figure.
Would have been easier if I didn't fill it half full of gasoline first, but you know, no one's perfect. Once I get the brackets built, to hold this up, it won't be able to go in straight up, but it can go out this way, so it's fine. I'm gonna set that down. Oh, right. It's not that heavy, but with all that gas in it, it's kind of hard to move it around because it just like sloshes around and the weight moves all over the place.
Let's see.
Bring one for me too.
I brought one for everybody.
Oh, that turned out so much better than
That's maybe my new favorite design that we've done.
Oh,
isn't that nice?
Oh, that's cool.
That is awesome.
And it's so funny, like you can just tell that that's Ethan.
Yep.
It matches the cord of our microphone
It does.
perfectly.
Oh, I almost tried to move the camera to show the cord, but you can't do
Maybe.
that.
These shirts fit really.
The mini jet boat shirts just hit the store today, and if you want one, act fast because the premium shirt sold out of almost every size in just a few hours. And thank you so much for that. It's huge motivation to keep going and keep coming out with some awesome designs.
I hope. It's off to the scrap pile we go. Looking for some metal to build the gas tank tray / mounting brackets out of. And I think this is a good place to start because it's relatively thin, but it has a lip on it, which adds strength. And also, if I do the sides out of this, then the gas tank will fit into that as a slot and can't slide back and forth. I have about 12% of a plan. The gas tank is 12 inches long. I'm gonna cut a 13-inch section so that I can have an inch to bend up on one end so that it makes a corner like this. It'll be the front, so it'll slide into that corner and stay there. The back will leave open so that it can be moved out without having to be lifted up because there isn't space. And I got a shiny new blade that's actually made for cutting metal. It's pretty spiffy because you can just pretend to be a carpenter.
That's nice.
If you don't have one of these, I recommend it. We're in no way sponsored by Diablo, but the Diablo Steel Demon blades, it's so convenient for stuff like this. It's much faster than a grinder, makes less sparks. And generally speaking, if your circular saw isn't completely Shrek like mine, then it cuts very straight and square. This 1/8 inch thick steel isn't exactly thin enough to use the brake. Doesn't need to be perfect. I mean, everything needs to be perfect. Oh, I'm a certain kind of stupid. I made them the same instead of opposite.
Oh.
They're supposed to be opposite. If my calculations are correct, and by calculations I mean complete guesswork, if I put one of these here, and one of these here, then the gas tank will sit nice and flat on them. It'll be more like there. And it'll be able to slide into them, and then I just have to make some straps that go over it and hold it down. And then we'll have a gas tank mounted. Wouldn't it be nice if we had a car lift? I didn't know it was going to be impossible. That doesn't fit because it has to clear this little lump here. So instead, that should provide enough clearance. Well, no, actually, if I put them all the way down here, it should be able to slide over and then set down in, and that'll be even more secure. Why would you do that to me?
Oh, thankfully that fits way
That's
better.
much better. I need to adjust the angle of this one a little bit.
Perfectly fits in between the suspension too.
Yeah.
Nice.
If this thing actually had flex, these would twist
Yeah.
and hit it, but
Ain't
it
no
doesn't.
way.
I mean, they
roll over.
might bump into it as is, but if we're ever going to try to flex it out, then we'll do something different before then.
Did you know there's beetles that roll poop around?
Dung beetles? Yeah,
Yeah.
dude. I've known that for
What the devil is
probably
even
longer than you've
that?
been alive.
I just saw a video of one on Instagram. I was like, what is that beetle doing? And it was like, it rolls poop around to build its house.
I don't think it rolls it to build its house. I think it eats it.
No, that's worse.
We're going to take a little bit of a break from building the Mini Cooper to see what kind of lap time we can put down in the 6x6 mini truck, because we've never timed it yet. And tell you about the brand new Insta360 Go 3. So the camera itself is just this little tiny thing here, which is magnetic. So it just blink, clips into all of its little mounts. And the action pod here has a screen and all the buttons. And this can also clip into there. Ready, set, go!
I don't think I've ever seen it jump that high. 3211.
It comes with this little sticky pad, which is actually a reusable sticky, which is awesome. Everything is super modular, so this little clippy magnet mount here, it also works with just that, which
What?
is super cool.
That's sick.
Oh yeah, that's a great angle.
Ready, set, go! That was good.
Yeah, that was very smooth.
We're gonna get a better time.
You beat it by a lot. My favorite part about this little camera is it's magnetic. So if we want to get a good shot showing the pedals and brakes and stuff, we can just remove it, magnet it straight on, Nice.
Yeah, you can
We
see
can
me. I'll do
preview
some,
everything.
do some heel toe work here.
Uh-huh.
Do the
This is like a professional setup. Like when we did that super fancy thing with the Bronco, there were people with like remote monitors and like all this crazy stuff.
yeah.
Your
It's a miniature
production-
version of that.
Yeah, with this one little thing, you have an action camera, something that your director can preview. You took a whole tenth off. Nice. If you want to check out the all-new Insta360 Go 3, the link is in our description. So check the link in the description and let's get back to working on this Mini Cooper.
Hand, tape measure, and ruler. Close enough for this. What I'm now doing now is taking this piece of, unfortunately, diamond plate.
Oh, I get it now.
I hate diamond plate. Anyway, I'm just gonna rip it in half and make two little straps that'll go over the tank because I can bend it where I need to and then have bolts on the ends and it'll just be really simple. I'm just using diamond plate because it's what I have a scrap of and nobody will really see it except for, you know, however many 100,000 people are watching right now. Strappity, strappity. And then, like magic, there were two. Nice. I had a file already on the ArcDroid for this little tab here that has a hole for the size of an 8mm rib nut, and it is very close to 3/4 to the center of the hole. It's a smidgen off, but close enough. So I cut one of those out. I'm gonna rib nut this rib nut in there. Imagine that. That'll work just fine. Nice. See, this is where if I'd planned ahead, I could have just left a tab extended out of the pieces that I cut for that. But realistically, that actually would have been more work to cut out the shape of that, so the way I did it here is going to work just fine.
Oh.
A little bit of heat shrink. We'll go over those and make it softer so it doesn't vibrate and rattle. See, like that much over each corner. Now this is the really satisfying part. Very satisfying.
Good results.
If I'd thought about this earlier, I mean, it entered my mind and then I forgot about it. If I'd thought about it when I was making these, I could have just slid it over it when it was straight and then bent it and it would have been really easy, but Oh yeah, very nice with a little bit of rubber on there. So if we can find a piece of hose that kind of close to fits that and kind of would fit over these threads, then we can replace this cap here with a piece of hose, and then we'll be able to fill it from the actual cap right above your camera there.
Looks like it's tricky to reach that stuff.
A little bit. Could be worse. I went digging through my scrap pile to see what I could find for exhaust chunks that are already bent up, to maybe be able to reroute so we could still use this muffler, because this engine doesn't sound particularly great without a muffler. And more importantly, right now it's pointed straight at the gas tank. There's a lot of space under here, so like one option is I could bring the exhaust out here, like to the side of the gas tank, and then up and over this region and then back over there. It'd be a lot more bends, but it would totally work. Okay. This doesn't need kinetic persuasion, it needs frictional persuasion. So here's the real dilemma. I whacked the extra off of this muffler here and I stuck it back where it goes. And you can see there's approximately that much space between it and the gas tank. So with this mounted here, unless I wanted to do a ton of work and like shorten these pipes and move the muffler back and then put these back on and whatever, any sort of shenanigans like that, which really doesn't seem worth it. There's really no way to do this because like that's too tight to bend and then it gets really close to the gas tank. I think it's just not worth it. If I lop this off right about here, then I can put this right about there. Put a mount here for this rubber hanger, which will be ideal. These ends here, I'll just lop these off right here, like that. A little bit of a slopey slope so that the exhaust goes down instead of at the gas tank. And yeah, you can reuse the muffler, have a little bit shorter of a pipe. I think it'll be all right. And then to get out from under here, you can get some exercises and, you know, just do some chair pull-ups or whatever the heck you want to call those. Kind of pointed at this frame rail, but it's pointed down. It doesn't really matter. I mean, it's a frame rail. Although, we have the technology to see what it sounds like. Honestly, that's not bad. It's a little louder than it was before.
Not by much, though.
No, it's kind of nice. Yeah, I like it. Sounds a little more aggressive than it did with the original setup. So I went digging through my scrap hoses, and this might just do the trick, at least temporarily, for the gas tank filler. Let's see. It fits nicely over that end. The other end's a little wonky, but you know, that might just work. I mean, it's not perfect on this end, but if I put another layer of a smaller hose over that, squeeze it inside there, should do the trick. We're really getting somewhere. Got a gas tank mounted, got the exhaust rerouted, about to have a filler neck.
These are premium things.
Yeah. That means really all we got to do to be able to test drive this thing is make sure the shifter, well, make a bracket for the shifter, and maybe figure out how to shift it into 4 low. I think there's a lever somewhere under there because odds are it's not really going to want to move very well. Look at that. That worked out perfectly. Nice and snug. Doesn't run into anything. It's not kinked. Imagine pulling into a gas station with this thing.
Oh, you even got the filler neck?
Oh, that's cracked. Our gas cap, this freaking, okay, well that works, but this doesn't.
I'd say it's working great.
Yep. It's an XJ now! Don't worry, the Jeep will get it. I'm trying to figure out some brake line stuff to order. Obviously, I just need some long braided flex lines to get from somewhere up here down to there. I found some lines, but now I'm trying to figure out what everything is so that I know what adapters to order so that I can get everything adapted to the right thing. Look at that. I think those are what I need. 3/8 24 on that end, which is inverted flare brake fitting, and then AN4 on that end, which is what the hoses I'm ordering are. So yeah, in time, we should be able to do a test drive. I'm also ordering up an oil cooler. So yeah. Time to be in time, we got our transmission cooler. Vastly overkill, but hey, you know, that's the way we like it. Oh, hose. What is even that?
What is even that?
Oh, there's probably more stuff here than I need. I didn't realize it came with so much fittings. Where do we want to mount this? On the other side over there has exhaust, so we don't want to mount it by the exhaust. I think maybe obviously we can't mount it like right up flush or it won't have anything to, we won't be able to pull air from anywhere, but somewhere in here could be totally fine.
Oh, that's a big Mama Jama. That one's big.
You want him? You want him, Will?
That one's huge, dude. Get that thing away from me.
It's friendly. It's a friendly little guy.
They're very happy,
I
Will.
don't like those at all. I hate those beetles.
Come back here, Will. I think it's actually called an Asian longhorn beetle, but I'm not sure if that's true or not. I decided I'd riv nut it first and then drill the holes in this so that it's more accurate, because sometimes the riv nuts don't always end up exactly in the perfect spot. Those go into this little hole here on the side of the transmission. Like that. Yeah.
What was that?
Nothing.
What the devil?
You didn't see nothing.
I'm gonna find another beetle, Will.
Oh no. New punishment for back pocket phone. Beetles.
Oh, I would not ever have my phone in my back pocket. That's
We'll just chase you with an Asian longhorn beetle every time you
oh no.
every time you have your phone in your back pocket. Because the push-ups seem to have, like, you just don't care and don't do them.
100 push-ups, Willie.
You're not 100 push-ups.
Can you imagine? He had to do 100 push-ups?
Oh.
Croissant wrench. Now we have a trans cooler. Look at that. Mounted, plumbed with the AN lines here. Looking mighty fine. Now I just have to do some wiring for it. Since it has a built-in thermo switch right here, I should be able to wire it up pretty quickly. And then I'm also realizing we don't have a dipstick in this transmission. Well, I got I got the back half of this wired up. Now I'm just attempting the swindly business of fishing this wire. So, these bolts here were broken. Both of these ones were. One of those is. You can see there was a huge discrepancy in diameter between the outer ones and the inner ones. And that, I suspect, is largely what caused them to break, aside from the inner ones not being big enough in the first place. These ones were cranked down really tight, and it twisted the plate and popped them loose. So, I found myself a handful of 1/2-inch bolts, which are still a smidgen smaller, but closer. And I'm gonna put them through like so, and then weld them onto the axle. It's not like 100% the best solution, but it'll work for now. And realistically, if we ever want to do anything really good off-road with this, I'd like to just make it 4-link or 3-link or whatever. I wanted to, I loosened these nuts up here so I could wiggle that around, but this shock has a bit of pressure pushing downward, so it was still angled over this way. So, I took one of these bolts I have here with the nut on it, and I stuck it in the space there. And now check it out. I can just adjust this by by loosening the nut on the bolt and expanding it. That's cool. Quick and easy solution. I thought maybe they mounted these shock mounts to this plate just because like these shocks weren't long enough or something. But when I disconnected this to take this plate off to make my life easier, look, it extends right down to the axle. Why would you not have just welded this to the... Oh, I just don't understand some people.
Seems like it's gonna work though.
Yeah. Finally, the last piece of the brake puzzle has arrived, and they're actually the right size, I believe. Aha, yes. Yeah, we should be able to have brakes, which means we might be test driving today. Taking this apart so I can replace these spindly broken bolts. You can see on this
Bear
side.
got in my van last night.
A bear got in your van?
Yeah.
What was in your van?
A donut.
Oh. Oh no. Must have been one of Mike Ross's bears. He used to feed donuts to him intentionally.
Yeah.
I really have no idea why this thing had panhard bars on it, which is what these were. You know, there was one back here, like this. I really can't imagine why someone put that there, because leaf spring vehicles typically don't have panhard bars. And also, like, it's not like this thing was doing anything crazy. Anyway, and they're stupid and they're in the way, and this one was at a terrible angle. Like, even if you were gonna put one in here, having it at this steep of an angle would make it so that as the suspension traveled up, like, it would try to push the whole suspension sideways, like, drastically, right? If you imagine this here, and then it pivots up, like, look at that. It's now out at the center of this leaf spring from here. Oof. It's terrible. Anyway, so I had Will remove those, and now he's gonna cut the brackets off.
Those are some sturdy brackets. You could build
like,
a bridge with that.
You could. You literally could. It's just so funny because there's some stuff on this thing that's super overkill, and then other stuff that just is like really flimsy, and there's no rhyme or reason to it. So anyway, we'll delete those because weight reduction, and they're in the way of some stuff. Plus, I should have thought of that before I did the gas tank. It would have been way easier to do the gas tank, but it doesn't matter. It was, you know, it's done now. It hardly flexes at all.
Yeah, it's very rigid.
So I have no idea why those were in there. This car makes no sense. But anyway, they're gone now.
Oh, good. You got safeties on.
Yeah, and I just was remembering that the viewers have been telling me about horror stories with these. Strings getting caught in here and like zzz, and I don't want to give myself a hillbilly shave today, so you know how to tuck the strings.
Alrighty, time to design some new shock mounts. I could just reuse these and weld them straight to the axle housing, but I do want to space it up just a little bit for down travel. And you know, any excuse to play with CAD and the ARC droid. I got a new feature set up, got the new update, and got it all figured out here with the ARC droid. It now has torch height compensation, which is a thing that, you know, a lot of higher end plasma cutters have, but not a lot of small entry level ones like this have it. So you can see this plate is not flat at all. It's kind of a warped old piece of metal. But the ARC droid will it'll read the arc voltage and compensate the height for it. So let's see. Outside and didn't run into anything. Very handy.
That's nice.
Yeah. Saves me a lot of time trying to like get all the pieces perfectly flat.
Yeah, it seemed like it worked really well.
I realized the reason that these were mounted to this plate as opposed to down here is simply for down travel on the shocks. It was just excessive and silly. And the mount was terrible, so I'm going to make a better mount that looks nicer. And so I've got this side here, and then this one will go a little bit longer, and it'll go right down to the back side, and then I'll make a plate that welds in on the outside of it here, in between them, to make it strong. Well, that ought to be a better looking shock mount. Let's see. Does my little gusset plate look like it's gonna work? Oh yeah, just absolute perfection. Gotta put some hexagons on it so that people know what I built, that I built part of it. Actually, by the time we're done, there'll be very little left of what other people did on this. It'll have just stayed the same shape. Why are you spluttering? Will? What? You see me just plunge, jam my face in there to get the welding hole.
Yeah, you could like barely fit yourself in there.
I'll hold the brakes down, you open the bleeder.
Okay. Yep, air did come out, so.
Nice.
Okay.
Closed?
Yep.
We got the brakes all bled, so we don't really know how effective they are yet, but they're at least gonna work to some extent. And then I figured I'd mess around with the shifter and see, and as I kind of thought might be the case, well, it was a 50-50 chance really, the shifter's reversed, so drive is park and park is drive, or whatever, or first gear, or however it's set up. Anyway, so that's kind of silly. But I was just thinking about it, and I might be able to reverse it if there's enough length in the, if I can make the cable pull from the other side, which I should be able to do. It's in park, correct?
Yep.
Yeah.
You want me to go to
Yep.
drive?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it seems to have worked. Shift back. Yeah, and back to drive. I mean, it seems to work. Time will tell.
I always gotta be worried when I see that camera pointed at me that there's gonna be a beetle flying through the air.
So I finally actually tracked down the washer fluid pump wiring. And I tested it and it works, so I have a wire temporarily hooked up to the starter. I'm gonna see if I can start the car with the washer fluid squirter. It'll be hilarious. If it works. If it doesn't work, well, then I'll try again until it does. Turn the ignition on. Okay, thief-proof. Yeah, so I've got that for this wire. This one's the ignition switch to turn the ECU on, and that's coming from this wire here in this bundle that you can't really see because it's not very long. Both of these obviously are unpluggable so that everything can be removable. Hit the start button to turn it on. And then, let's see.
That's awesome.
Satisfying. Nice. I know it has some fluid in the trans, otherwise I wouldn't be running it, but look at that. And then you pop the key out and it shuts off. Nice. All right. Well, let's see. While I'm in there doing wiring, I might as well wire up that transmission thing.
Are you digging? I don't think you're supposed to be digging.
Why are you digging down there, Bjorn? He always has a dirty face every day. And a dirty attitude.
Alrighty, we got ourselves some ATF. And then I guess we can see if it moves. That battery's just about dead. work. Kinda.
It looks so cool.
Yeah, so the brakes sort of work. I wouldn't say they work well, but they do work. Oh, what a silly, silly machine.
Yeah, I heard you have to rev it a lot to get it to
Yeah,
do
well,
anything.
I mean, I think what happened is you fill it up, and then I think you're supposed to check most engines at idle for automatic transmissions, so.
Automatic transmissions are so swindly to fill up. They're very odd.
Everything looking okay?
Yeah, there's a little bit of coolant leak here, and I thought it was maybe the overflow, but I think it's actually, because I don't actually have a overflow tank on it, I think this hose is actually just leaking a little bit. Put the rest of that gallon of ATF in there. Once the transmission, actually got primed and sucked it in, then it pumped it through all the coolant lines and everything else, so it was low again. So we'll see if this is enough to make it drive normally. If not, we'll have to have Edwin bring some up.
Premium fuel?
Yeah, premium fuel.
All the brakes, excellent. It works.
对，
right?
Suspension is brutal.
How does that feel? The whole body like goes off the like.
Oh, is that what it is?
Popping
Yeah.
off the frame.
Well, I mean, the suspension is garbage
Yeah.
too, but yeah,
I
the
just
body's
saw it
barely
doing,
mounted.
Like, boing, boing, boing.
I just hit my head on the ceiling. The
Yeah.
suspension's so bad.
Where did Will go? Is he hiding from us so he doesn't have to do more push-ups?
I think so.
What's he doing?
What are you doing back here, Will?
Oh, it's just looking at the Onyx off-road app, and it looks like the Bald Mountain Trail doesn't have any snow on it. Do you think that this would be able to make it up in two-wheel drive?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, if it'll go up this hill, that's
Yeah,
different
and
than
it
anything up
trundled
Bald
through the
Mountain.
woods.
Let's
Hey,
do it.
There's a lot more trails than I thought around here.
I know,
actually.
right? It's so cool.
Premium. I can't believe I fit in there. That was smooth.
Figure we'll air down all the tires and get the smoothest ride we can. Might as well, right? Put them at like 5 PSI. This is a tall boy. It is the tall boy.
Sheesh. We're all in here. This is the first time we've swindled around, all four of us. In the show.
Are you ready for the starting procedure?
Mm-hmm.
You hit this, turn it on, and then
That is so
and then you also turn your wipers on every time you start the car. So
nice. That's awesome.
Oh, it is bumpy.
it's so bumpy.
I feel a bunch of
You guys did not ride any before. This is so much better than it was because we aired down the tires and there's 4 people.
Oh my gosh, this is
Is that not the worst ride you've ever experienced?
Oh man, I didn't believe you even when you said it was that
Yeah,
bad.
they thought I was just being a suspension snob, right?
It's actually pretty bad.
It's unbelievably
I don't
bouncy.
know if it's like as bad as
Hey, the brakes actually work pretty decent now. Well, I mean, they're okay.
Is that full brake?
Yeah. Not terrible.
Is it just a little Mini Cooper brake booster kicking
Yeah.
up with the big bigs?
I think so. I mean, also they're 46-inch tires. Like, even the brakes that are on these axles aren't made for tires that big. Who's ready for the big hill?
Oh no! I didn't know we were doing the big hill.
I didn't either. We're doing it now.
I'm glad we decided the brakes were bad before doing the big hill.
They're not bad. They're just not amazing. They're good enough for this. See, I mean, we can, you know, we're not going too fast here. The commentary of
It's funny, I can't see the bumps coming from my perspective at the moment.
They're so violent.
Who's ready for the jump? Just kidding, we're not hitting it.
Wow, this thing trundles through the woods pretty nice.
Yeah, we'll hope we don't get stuck in the mud here with our two-wheel drive.
Yeah.
Oh, this thing might actually have the radius to go around this loop-de-loop.
Oh, wow.
I actually am very impressed with that turning radius.
Yeah, like overall, this thing is a lot less winch.com than I thought it would be.
Let's go backward over the jump here. Doing a manual cool down of the radiator since we don't have a fan yet.
Next stop, radiator fan.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of flow potential through this little grill either.
It's not the best.
Let's see if the brakes work.
I think it's probably the upshift. Well, we made huge progress on the Mini Cooper this episode.
What do you got?
Check this out. Turn around, Will.
What? Oh no!
Dual.
That's 20.
No! I was wondering what you were
Drop and give
I
us
was
money.
wondering what you were laughing about. I was laughing about Bjorn.
I saw Grindhard's phone in your back pocket, and then I saw your phone was back.
7, 8, 9.
Look at that, safe.
No, don't double stack them.
You just want to break iPhones. That's your goal in life.
The new shirt is premium.
You can work out in it, apparently.
You can, yeah. I just did 20 push-ups.
It now runs and drives, so that's a massive step in the right direction. We still need a front drive shaft, if we can find one that's got a steep enough angle, a radiator fan, and actually we should really get a whole new radiator. This one's only about that thick. We need a beefier one. The ride is the worst suspension I've ever experienced, but it's also an excellent driving experience because it's just so absurd.